Hello and welcome to a bonus edition of the Quantum Creating Podcast, bringing the world of the formless into form and other true stories with me, Paul Webb, your quantum mentor. And I was guided, driven, inspired to bring you today's bonus podcast recording because we are living in very unusual times. Certainly the most unusual, strange and stressful mentally times that I can actually remember in my lifetime. Now, I haven't got the reference point of going through a world war, and to be perfectly honest with you and quite frank, I don't want that reference point. But certainly watching what's happening worldwide and here in the UK and seeing how people are being gripped by a fear mentality has been an interesting observation in and of itself. And it's very, very difficult to stay objective about it, to not objectify it, I mean, to not judge it, to rise above it and just observe it and see it for what it really is. And hopefully on today's brief podcast, I can bring you some information that may help you deal with what's going on now, which, as I say, is quite unique and very, very different to what we've seen before. I can't quite remember a pandemic gripping people so fearfully, as I say, in my lifetime. And I'm 51 years old now, so I go back quite some time to the 1960s, believe it or not. But anyway, we are certainly traversing uncertain waters at the moment, and we have a stark choice. We can drift along directionless with the fleet, or we can hitch up our sail, we can take charge, and we can head to where we want to go. And it really does boil down to making the decision and having the choice of what to do. And it's very, very important that we understand this. I think that clearly coronavirus is something that in certain circumstances can be quite troublesome, and people are losing their lives. But you know, people lose their lives all the time, and I'm not belittling death or anything like that, but it's a matter of fact that more people have died from the common cold, more people have died from influenza, more people die from diabetes, more people die from heart disease, more people die from cancer, more people die in road traffic accidents. So the perspective for this has been, I don't want to say manipulated, let's use the word manifested to be something far in excess of what it currently is. And that's not to say that this couldn't be very, very dangerous, but the fact remains that from what I've researched on World Health Organization sites and so on and so forth, that the vast majority of the population won't even know they've got it if they get it. And it's a very small percentage of people that are going to be troubled by said virus. So if we're very, very careful, if we practice good immunity, good energy, good hygiene, etc., etc., then the vast majority of the population of the world are going to be just fine. So I think it's all about perspective. I think it's all about just calm down, relax, look at the facts and conduct yourselves in a way that's consummate with those facts. But there are certain things that we can do that are going to help us mentally get through this. And I want to take you back to Wallace Wattles' excellent book, The Science of Getting Rich, which was written a long, long time ago, 100 years ago. And Wattles summarized it perfectly in one of the chapters. Let's have a look for you. It's chapter 17, if you're interested, summary of The Science of Getting Rich, in which he said, there is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which in its original state permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imaged by the thought. Man can form things in his thought, and by impressing his thought upon formless substance, can cause the thing he thinks about to be created. Now, this is something that each and every one of you wants to read, wants to embody, wants to understand, wants to tattoo on your brain, and you want to be very clear about what is being said here. So I'm going to read this one more time for you, okay? There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which in its original state permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imaged by the thought. Man can form things in his thought, and by impressing his thought upon formless substance can cause the thing he thinks about to be created. Now, forgive the masculine use of language here. It was written in 1912, but it's completely applicable to each and every one of us. We create in our subconscious mind thoughts, stories, narratives, paradigms that 95% of the time are directing our life. And whether you believe in the law of attraction, whether you believe in manifesting, whether you believe in metaphysics is irrelevant. Neuroscience clearly shows that we are consciously aware only 5% of the time. That means we are thinking consciously about what we're doing, about what we're saying, about how we're behaving and how we're acting, and ultimately what results we get just 5% of the day. 95% of the day, that is being done automatically without our conscious awareness. And as Wattles says here, a thought in this substance, a thought in your subconscious produces the thing that is being imaged by the thought. You are creating, living, behaving, acting, and getting results based on what your most permanent thoughts, thought forms, stories, narratives are. So you have to practice deep awareness. You have to uncover what these thought forms are, what these stories are, what these narratives are. And what you tend to find is that the beliefs you have aren't your beliefs at all. They are beliefs that have been given to you over the course of your life. Now, you've only got to look at coronavirus now. There's a lot of panic buying, there's a lot of fear. People are probably overreacting. It's creating a mental state of fear and separation. If that's what's going through your mind 95% of the time and you're not aware of it, this is what you're going to create in every area of your life. Now, I'm not saying you need to be unaware of what's going on. I'm not saying you need to be notified of what's going on, but you need to run it through very good filters. You need to run it through the filters of, is this serving me? If I look after myself and look after the ones that are close to me, can I go about creating in my life the things I really want to create? And that's the question that we all must answer, because we still have the ability to create things that we want even when the world is falling down around us. I've had events cancelled because of coronavirus. I'm switching them online. Did I want to do the events live in person? Yeah, sure, because I love meeting people. But at the moment, it's not the thing that was going to serve the majority of people in the best way. So we are going to do it online. We're still serving, we're still spreading the message, we're still taking care of the people we can take care of. You have to understand that the thought process you go through, the behaviors that you undertake, the actions that you do every single day are going to impress upon this thought stuff, this thinking stuff, the universe, what it is that's going to show up in your life. So have a think about what I've said today. We are in uncertain waters. We are in a time in our development and our conscious awareness, if you like, that we've never seen quite this way before. And it's a test for us all. How are we going to get through it? How are we going to behave when, to coin a phrase, the shit hits the fan? Well, now's your chance to find out. No one is not affected by this because it's a pandemic, it's worldwide. But here's a little thought for you to go away and chew on. Doesn't it show you how connected we all are? That no matter what's happening in one country, it can permeate to all other countries and all other nations of the world. That just because Chinese people have it, just because Indian people have it, just because African American people have it, just because white British people have it, there are no barriers, only man-made thought forms that tell you there are barriers. We are all one. And the sooner we realise that, the sooner we can move forward, create real magic in our lives, and really do some amazing stuff. So I hope that this served you in some small way. As I say, I was just called to come on and just talk to you for 10 minutes, 10 minutes or so, and just give you my thoughts about what's going on and how we can just run through a filter and still create those things that we want to create. It's hard, but if you're in the creative space, if you're in the imaginative space, if you're in the results-based states that you say you are, then it's what you're going to have to do. So practice good hygiene, look after your energy, look after those around you, and crack on and create some real magic. I hope this has served you. If it has, please feel free to share, like, rate, review, because it helps me bring you more and more of these podcasts. We'll be back on Monday with another episode, but for now, peace, love and joy. Look after yourselves, folks.